Disclaimer: we are not the Flat Earth Society. The Flat Earth Society is considered a controlled opposition group put in place to obfuscate true Flat Earth activism. We are not the Flat Earth Society. The Flat Earth Society is controlled opposition. It is disinformation. It's a group that mixes truth with lies. Okay, just like the powers that be, they mix truth with lies, because if it was all lies, nobody would believe any of it. It'd be too obvious. So they put truth in there. They mix it with truth to make you think that they have some credit. And then they put blatant lies in there.
Καληνύχτα. Ας είναι και αυτό που δίνεις λίγο στο. Είναι κάτι για ένα μέλλον αδιανό. Το θέμα είναι να αγγίξω ουρανό. Να βρω αυτό που χάνεται μπρος, σαν επικοινωνώ. Στα τόσα ας μη χάνουμε το σεβασμό. Θα σε επικοινωνήσουμε έτσι για το γιο. Ναι, μίλα για λίγο στο διπλανό. Θα σε επικοινωνήσουμε έτσι για το γιο. Πες το ένα καλημέρα που να είναι αληθινό. Θα σε επικοινωνήσουμε έτσι για το γιο. Ας αρχίσουμε να λέμε και όπου καταλήξει. Ας δούμε τα εντότερά μας να σπάσουμε την πλήξη.
If you take a step back and look at the Earth, that sucker is round as you're gonna get. So it's not actually a sphere, it's like pear-shaped. Pear-shaped.
Is a sphere. So people have known that the Earth is spherical for thousands of years. It's not okay to say that the Earth is flat. This is some sort of strange denial. I don't know where it comes from. And it's something where I keep getting this question. We really need to put this question to bed because we've known the Earth is a sphere for a long time.
Look at pictures from space, where you see the Earth as a sphere. Those pictures are not fake. The Earth isn't quite a sphere. It's a little its spin is a little stretched it, made it slightly oblate. The Earth is a sphere, but the Earth isn't quite a sphere. That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical, but I have an open mind. You see, I'm pretty unique in the respect that I actually will challenge my own belief system, challenge my own worldview. And I'm not afraid to do that. Many Americans are. They just have gut, instinctual, emotional responses. And if it doesn't go with their familiar narrative of how they think the world's supposed to work, they ridicule, they laugh, they engage themselves in groupthink. They are afraid to question their current reality.
Realize that we've been lied to about everything when it comes to space.
People wonder why I don't trust NASA. That's why I don't trust NASA. Everybody's trying to show you stuff from space and you keep rejecting it. This is why I reject it. These guys are liars.
NASA, we're coming for you. For 60 years, you've been faking space. There are no spheres in the heavens. The experts have devised them in the imagination so it was easier to understand their movements. So what's that mean? Well, it means stars are not distant. Guilty of a cover-up the likes of which has never been seen in human history. Everything, and I mean everything that we were taught about space, about the planets, about the orbits is a hoax. It's a lie. That means our entire idea of the cosmos isn't just wrong, it's very wrong. Astronomically wrong. So, any scientists, any physicists out there going to do anything? Or is the scientific community just going to sit there and do nothing? You guys are really just making it harder for the truth to come out by protecting these frauds and the liars that deceived all of us.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually. We only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. Fly in Earth orbit, that's the farthest that we can go. The moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to.
And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made from the White House. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you have done.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here.
A journey to another planet, a manned mission to Mars.
I should tell you that the first mission is scheduled to land on Mars on July the 4th, 1997, Independence Day.
We will undertake extended human missions to the moon as early as 2015. With the goal of living and working there for increasingly extended periods of time. Human missions to Mars and to worlds beyond.
But I just have to say, pretty bluntly here, we've been there before. There's a lot more of space to explore and a lot more to learn when we do. Now, last month we launched a new spacecraft as part of a re-energized space program that will send American astronauts to Mars.
We will establish a foundation for an eventual mission to Mars and perhaps someday to many worlds beyond. If we dare to dream big, and that's what our country is doing again. We're dreaming big.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
The moon is supposedly 238,000 miles away. It's noticeably much closer. The sun, too. Which is why on a flat Earth the sun is able to set due to perspective. On the flat plane, it's closer, it's smaller, so the further it travels away from you, it appears to go down. It's far enough away to where you can't see the light.
When we have hot spots proving locality, that it can't be 93 million miles away.
We are looking at a very local sun.
your face is the brilliant sun.
Thank you.
And this is Earth, and the moon is over here. The sun is always casting Earth's shadow into space. So the moon occasionally passes through that shadow. And if you see the shape of Earth's shadow on the moon, it is always round. Always round.
One flat disk moving across another flat disk. As the circular shadow moves along the moon, it maintains its circular shape the whole way at the same pace. The moon is not a sphere. In the made-up heliocentric line, as the shadow moves onto a sphere, it is wrapping around its curve. Starting from the outer edge and moving towards the middle, the shadow takes on the spherical contour and bends upward at its height, then falls backwards in a barrel-distorted manner.
We've been programmed and indoctrinated to believe in this round, spinning ball Earth flying through space. If you watch movies, you'll start to notice all the time you're seeing this right in your face. If you think about it, you were shown the globe and taught, before you can even think for yourself or even barely walk, you were taught the globe model. This stuff is imprinted in our minds, and we grow up and it's hard to let go. The definition of a fisheye lens is an ultra-wide-angle lens that produces strong visual distortion to create a wide, panoramic, or hemispherical image.
Whenever you start to tilt it upwards or downwards, that's where you get the curvature distortion. So if you tilt the lens upwards in relationship to the horizon, it's going to kind of curve up and create a bowl type effect. If you tilt it downward, it's going to create a sphere or a kind of an orb type effect.
We can see the curve there, but if that's the curve of the Earth,
and it's not very big. Go at the video yourself, have a look for yourself. It's 127,000 feet, and it's a complete. But how we get from that to this curve, I have no idea. I do know it's barrel lens distortion, and they're trying to deceive everybody.
Besides Hollywood movies and TV shows, these wide-angle camera lenses are the only reason you'll ever witness curvature. It's the very reason why most people believe they have seen curvature. Because at 120,000 plus feet, there is no curvature when you use a normal lens that's not distorted.
It's 2018. If you don't know that the Earth is not a giant spinning ball, then you are either holding yourself back on purpose or you're a shill.
To all those of you who can't possibly imagine a deception so large, it's time to realize that this isn't a conspiracy anymore. You just need to do the research, and you'll see that we don't and can't live on a spinning ball in space. Period. Math is not reality.
Pilot is flying around the curve of the Earth, then he should be dipping the nose down. Every 5 minutes he should be dipping the nose down to stay around the curve. That's absolute proof that a plane flies over a flat surface rather than a curved one.
Earth doesn't move.
If you look into the experiments to prove that the Earth is spinning, all of them fail.
We have been led to believe that the sun goes down below a horizon as we roll away from it on our spinning ball Earth. When we allow ourselves to question, challenge, or even try to confirm our beliefs with real-life observations, we allow ourselves to see what we really see, even if we cannot understand it. And perhaps we are not supposed to understand it. And that is the point of watching a sun travel away from us, getting smaller and smaller, and becoming a speck on the horizon, beyond the band of convergence. The sun appears to be exactly where we see it.
Forget it, Bart. It's so bright out you can't see anything in the sky except the Fox satellite.
Now, I did not say that little lights can't go across the sky. They exist. I said orbiting metal expensive satellites don't exist. It's a scam on you and on me. Go ahead and try and prove satellites exist. You won't and you can't.
What we're calling satellite communication is landline communication. Most of the world's communication systems are land-based. That is a fact. And that shouldn't be a fact if satellites are real, okay? None of the stuff we use in our world today require the use of a satellite, all right? Keyword, ground-based. I know that this satellite program is straight bogus and that the billions of money that they're getting from us in taxes is being used to turn around and deceive us. Why you keep building these towers if we're paying for satellites? Any way they could exist is to hover above a certain height above the flat plane Earth and they would be stationary.
Captain thinks the world is around, see? But we all know it's a flat, right?
Of course it's flat. Sure, I know the world is flat.
Well, so do I. Everybody knows that.
Good, then you're on our side. We're gonna take over the boat, throw Columbus in chains, and head for home.
Good idea.
The words Google Flat Earth were found carved into the riverside hill in letters that were 10 feet long.
The world is flat?
The world is flat.
Not debatable, it's flat.
The world is flat.
The earth 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 is flat.
The world is flat.
The world is flat like a son of a bitch.
You're giving us a lot to process.
True or false? The earth is round. False. Can you please explain your answer?
It hasn't been proven.
No, why do you believe you live on a globe? What was your reason?
Yes, because I've been told. That's right, okay.
Prove it without using NASA or any other space agency.
The earth is flat. I don't see any curvature. Curvature. I mean, it's definitely not curving down. If anything, the horizon is rising to meet our eye line.
This is a group of social criminals, these people in the space program. Nassholes, I call them. I have a very low tolerance level for stupid bullshit. Every one of those items is provably untrue at one level or another, but we believe them because they're pounded into our heads from the time we're children. That's what they do with that kind of stuff. They put it in the heads of kids. They pound it in there because they know kids are too young to be able to mount a sophisticated argument against these kind of ideas. And so kids, and up to a certain age, by the way, kids are going to believe everything a grown-up tells them, everything. So kids never learn to question things. Nobody questions things in this country anymore. Nobody questions things. Why? People are too fat and happy. People are way too fucking prosperous for their own good. Everyone's got a cell phone that'll make pancakes and rub their balls. Americans have been silenced, bought off and silenced by gizmos and toys. And as a result, no one's ever learned to question things. Kids who want to learn to read are going to learn to read. Much more important to teach children to question what they read.
There's not one authentic picture of this oblate, pear-shaped spinning ball that they claim we live on. I'm sorry to tell you, the only thing that's been to space is your imagination. There is no such thing as space. For thousands of years, all ancient civilizations knew the earth was flat. Until 500 years ago, they took the word of God and they turned it upside down. They said, no, we revolve around the sun. The sun's in the middle, and we're spinning through space and wobbling with the sun at over 600,000 miles per hour. When an organization of pseudoscientists tell me to go completely against what all my senses tell me, that we're stationary and flat, I see it's flat, it's immovable. And I'll go outside when I send a camera up without GoPro or fisheye lens. When I send a balloon up 100,000 feet and it shows the horizon flat, I can't go against that. When I see skylines 60 to 100 miles away, when spherical geometry says they should be behind the curve, all this stuff isn't adding up.
Joshua Nowicki, and what you're seeing here is a mirage. You typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I say, continue to believe pathological liars and you're an idiot.
By the way, how much money is being spent on space? You should emblazon this in your head. Here it goes. This is the pie chart. $330 billion a year is spent on space. Spent on space. Spent on space.
Νιώσεις κατώτερος ή ανώτερος, μα ίσως να μ' αφήσεις να σε δω μες στο ημίφος. Ας είναι και αυτό που δίνεις λίγο στο, είναι κάτι για ένα μέλλον αδιανό. Το θέμα είναι να αγγίξω ουρανό, να βρω αυτό που χάνεται μπρος, σαν επικοινωνώ. Στα τόσα ας μη χάνουμε το σεβασμό, θα σε επικοινωνήσουμε έτσι για το γιο. Ναι, μίλα για λίγο στο διπλανό. Θα σε επικοινωνήσουμε έτσι για το γιο. Πες το ένα καλημέρα που να είναι αληθινό. Θα σε επικοινωνήσουμε έτσι για το γιο.